Pay attention, because what you're about to discover could quietly transform how a man experiences confidence, connection, and presence in his most intimate moments. And most men never even realize they're missing it. There exists a nightly practice so simple, so easily overlooked, that it passes unnoticed by nearly every man who assumes performance is only about strength, endurance, or sheer will. Yet the truth is far more subtle and far more influential. At the end of the day, when the mind finally slows, the body is still carrying the weight of everything it has absorbed. Stress, tension, pressure, emotional fatigue, unspoken expectations. Most men drift off to sleep without releasing any of it, carrying this hidden load into the next day and eventually into their relationships, where it surfaces in ways they never anticipate. Now, imagine a quiet evening ritual, unhurried, intentional, grounding, deeply restorative, a practice that signals to the body that it is safe, calm, and fully present once again. This is where the concept of a nighttime oil routine transcends simple self-care and begins to shape confidence, connection, and intimacy almost effortlessly. The reason this works is not magic. It's the body's natural response to touch, scent, and deliberate relaxation, especially after a mentally taxing day. Most men overlook this entirely because they're conditioned to think performance starts in the moment. In truth, performance is cultivated long before, in the hours when the body either resets or continues accumulating tension. By introducing a calming, oil-based self-massage routine before sleep, subtle transformations begin. Not overnight, but gradually, the body learns to respond differently to stress, muscles release tension more readily, and the mind enters a quieter rhythm. Warm oil on the skin, slow, deliberate movements, and a peaceful environment communicate to the nervous system to downshift, releasing tightness, improving circulation, and encouraging mental calm. And this calmness isn't merely physical, it becomes emotional. Emotional presence is often underestimated in discussions about intimacy, yet it forms one of the strongest foundations for connection. Women respond not only to physical capability, but to attentiveness, grounding, and the sense that a man is fully present, unburdened, undistracted, and undisturbed by residual tension. The nighttime oil routine indirectly fosters all of this by teaching the body to exit survival mode and enter a state of relaxed receptivity. Over time, this presence begins to extend into daytime behavior as well. There's also a powerful psychological effect in ritual itself. Dedicating even 10 or 15 minutes to care for one's body reinforces self-respect. This isn't vanity. It's a conscious act of returning the mind to itself, building quiet, unspoken confidence that naturally informs how a man engages with others. The oils themselves are secondary. Consistency and intention matter most. Certain natural oils may enhance relaxation and comfort, but the true benefit lies in slowing down, focusing on the body, and silencing mental noise before sleep. Many men unknowingly carry tension in their shoulders, neck, and lower back, and this affects not just posture, but patience, mood, and emotional availability. Tense muscles produce a reactive mind, and a reactive mind interrupts intimacy, making connection feel rushed or detached. A nightly routine of warm oil and slow self-massage unwinds these patterns. Muscles soften, breathing deepens, sleep improves, recovery becomes more effective, all contributing to sustained vitality. The resulting shift is tangible. The body feels lighter, the mind clearer, and the emotional space between partners more open. What surprises most men is that they expect improvements through external fixes. Instead, the real change begins internally, through calm, regulated presence. Repetition builds a psychological association between relaxation and intimacy, teaching the nervous system that closeness is not stressful or performance-driven, but a natural extension of a composed state. This reduces overthinking and pressure, silent barriers that often undermine connection. As the routine becomes ingrained, it evolves from something done to something embodied, a transition from the demands of the world to the restoration of self. Confidence is rebuilt quietly from within. In the next section, we'll explore how this practice influences emotional presence, physical responsiveness, and the subtle dynamics of intimacy that most men never consciously notice. With consistent practice, the effect is not only physical, but relational. Repeated guidance into a calm, regulated state before sleep leaves an imprint that carries into waking hours. Emotional availability grows naturally. Instead of reacting defensively or withdrawing under pressure, a man develops stability and a slower internal pace, allowing thoughtful, deliberate responses. In intimate relationships, this difference is palpable even when unspoken. Many men underestimate the impact of emotional tension on physical connection. Intimacy is not isolated, it is influenced by stress, mood, and mental clarity. Unresolved tension manifests subtly as distraction, impatience, or emotional distance. A nighttime oil routine becomes a bridge, guiding accumulated tension toward release, not because the oil itself is magical, but because the ritual provides a pause, a permission to soften. This softening is not only muscular, but neurological, signaling the brain that the day has ended and heightened alertness is no longer required. Over time, this rewires the baseline response to stress, making relaxation easier and recovery more effective. In relationships, this manifests as a remarkable capacity for presence. A man can fully engage without distraction, without carrying unfinished thoughts into intimate moments. Presence may feel abstract, but it is rooted in breath, muscle tone, eye focus, and nervous system regulation. Balanced in these areas, a man appears grounded naturally, and partners respond positively because calmness fosters emotional safety, the foundation of attraction and trust. The ritual also enhances body awareness. During the day, most men operate in goal-oriented do mode, treating the body as a tool. At night, slow, intentional touch reconnects the mind to sensation, rebuilding attunement to tension, fatigue, and comfort. This awareness allows stress to be recognized and released before it accumulates, promoting emotional regulation and deeper intimacy. Psychologically, the routine restores control over internal states. Daily demands fragment attention. Work, responsibilities, and digital noise leave the mind scattered. The nighttime ritual interrupts this fragmentation, returning focus to a grounding, intentional experience. This trains sustained attention and naturally extends to conversations, emotional exchanges, and intimate moments where presence outweighs performance. The practice also supports sleep not through guarantees, but by preparing the mind and body for deeper rest. A calm nervous system eases the transition into restorative sleep, which enhances energy, mood, and vitality, all critical for authentic presence in relationships. Intimacy reflects internal balance. A man depleted or overstimulated struggles to be present, whereas one who consistently restores himself fosters connection effortlessly. The nightly oil ritual is therefore less about oils and more about balance, a daily act of self-regulation that prevents tension from accumulating. Small emotional gaps in relationships often stem not from lack of care, but from unresolved stress carried silently. By resetting nightly, a man clears space for genuine connection, quietly boosting confidence rooted in internal regulation rather than outward dominance. Over time, the ritual reshapes how a man relates to his body, mind, and partner. Intimacy is the interplay of two nervous systems. When one becomes balanced, the relational dynamic shifts subtly but profoundly. In subsequent sections, we will explore how this practice affects long-term relational dynamics, desire, emotional resilience, and the nuanced psychology of masculine presence. Weeks and months of consistent practice reveal a shift. The focus moves from trying to perform to embodying presence, naturally fostering connection without effort. This is where many men misinterpret intimacy. They concentrate on isolated moments rather than the internal systems that generate them. A consistent nighttime oil routine evolves into emotional conditioning, teaching the nervous system to view closeness as restorative rather than stressful. Gradually, the end of the day becomes a clear transition into recovery, reducing fatigue and emotional heaviness. Emotional residue, one of the most subtle yet disruptive factors in intimacy, softens. Partners perceive presence, warmth, and attentiveness more clearly, even when no conscious effort is applied. Desire is also affected. Many assume it is spontaneous, but it is highly sensitive to stress, sleep, and emotional safety. A regulated nervous system stabilizes desire, not through intensity, but through openness and groundedness, fostering consistency and security in long-term relationships. Internal pressure around performance is reduced as well. Constant self-evaluation creates background tension that disrupts responsiveness, making intimacy feel like a task. The nightly routine creates a space without performance expectations, shifting the mind-body association from evaluation to relaxation, allowing intimacy to move toward embodied experience. Confidence transforms. It becomes quiet, grounded, and steady, prioritizing internal stability over external proof. Partners respond to this presence with ease, fostering safety and predictability where emotional expression flows naturally. The practice improves communication as well. Internal regulation reduces defensive reactions, misinterpretations, and impulsive responses, enhancing emotional exchanges and reinforcing relational intimacy. Physiologically, consistent nighttime relaxation supports recovery, energy regulation, and emotional stability, all of which make connection effortless rather than draining. Ultimately, the nighttime oil routine works by removing internal obstacles rather than adding external fixes. It addresses tension, overstimulation, fatigue, and distraction, factors invisible yet profoundly influential in intimacy. The man doesn't change, he becomes more available to what is already possible. This availability fosters deeper connection, emotional security, and mutual presence without conscious effort. Viewed holistically, the routine is about a daily return to balance, a repeated act of self-regulation that reshapes the nervous system, mind, and emotional landscape. Its effects accumulate quietly yet powerfully, enhancing confidence, connection, desire, and emotional presence naturally. In the end, the transformation is not in performance but in the quality of connection itself. Intimacy becomes less about effort